Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you're at, folks. This is me all the way, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk, coming to you live on YouTube, folks. A bit under the weather. I caught a little cold over the weekend, so yeah. If you hearing some hacking and some coughing and sneezing, it's me. And I have a doctor's appointment in a couple of days. It was already scheduled, but with this thing now, because I have to go to every 3 months. Like every 3 months, I go to my doctor on a regular basis. Get myself checked out, check my blood pressure and else. But with this now, it's something really I most definitely need to get taken care of. So, folks, we talked about the subject before, and it's really, truthfully, the serious part of being a bodybuilder: the cost, the expense. Traveling to shows, paying entry fees, coaches, everything. And it seems like it's money that you're burning. You're not getting much return on it. Oh yeah, you get to go to a big show like the Olympia or the All Classic, but still, if you're the lucky few who gets sponsorships or who can really make money out of a career with bodybuilding, you're just a lucky one. So I have my usual suspects here, my regulators. Like I say, you can't be any geek off the street. You gotta know how to handle steel. You want to earn your keep. You have my man, Mr. Big Keith Williams, IFBB Pro here. And there he is. Yeah. Yeah. There you go, big bro. Just give him a second. He got to get his sound on.
Got your sight, man. What up?
Yeah. I know he's excited about his Chiefs. They're on the way to another Super Bowl.
Yeah, let's go.
But
Braving the cold this weekend, bro. Be braving the cold this weekend.
I'm braving the cold right now. So and also we have my man who's a true historian of women's bodybuilding, and female bodybuilding altogether. My man, Jeremy Remo, aka the Film Physique fan, also aka the Art of Female Muscle.
What up?
Am I on? Yeah, there I am. Okay.
You're on. Yeah. All right. So anyway, folks, discussion again is I often wonder what motivates, you competitors like yourself, Keith, the competing bodybuilding with the cost of everything, from, with you guys, you don't have to pay too much on posing suits, the banana hammocks don't cost that much, but still you have other costs like, your coach, your food costs, travel, because you are qualified for the Masters Olympia. So that gives you opportunity to go to Japan. That's a expensive cost. I remember when Lori, who's been out here before, she talked about the time when she had to go to Romania that year.
Yeah, it's expensive. I looked at tickets to Japan. It's like I think the cheapest ticket is $1,400. That's just to get there, and that's not including who I decided to bring. Where Tina clearly will come along, and I don't think we'll bring the kids on this trip, but it's one of those things where, coach will be there. So, you're talking about, $1,400-$1,500 a pop for that. And then hotel and everything else that goes all involved into that. I think the last international show I did was the Nordic Pro when we were filming Generation Iron in Finland or Helsinki. I think it was via Finland. And then they brought us a bus over, but the promoter paid for three U.S. athletes, and I was one of them. Fred Small and Chad Jewell was the other two that were brought over to compete in that show. And it was an unbelievable show, but when you got to pay out of pocket, it's expensive. And even whether you're amateur or pro, it's a lot of money. Like I tell people, if I would have knew, and just me being transparent and honest, if I would have knew what I know now, I don't know if I would have actually done this sport, because there's just it's robbing Peter to pay Paul, and it's the number of athletes who get sponsored, the number of athletes who actually make money in the sport is very few and far between. The one thing that I realize that now what you see athletes now are doing these days is the ones who have, I have several certifications and a master's degree in exercise sports physiology. So I train people, I coach people, not just competitors, weight loss, all kinds of kids, all kinds of things. So from that standpoint, there's a residual income in that as well. I did play pro sports for a long time, so I made money, but I don't want to just throw my money away. But when you said earlier in the conversation, when it comes to food and it comes to training and it comes to supplements and it comes to travel, I mean, I think we and Tina, I think our shows that we did in California, Reno, that was a $10,000 trip. Between the hotels, the flights, the car rental cars, the food, because we brought our kids this time. We made it a family affair. It was expensive. Tickets for the show, like you get it, like what people don't understand, like if you're a master competitor, you don't get tickets. If you're open competitor, you get tickets. So it's like it's this kind of like it's this crazy ass thing. But Keaton's 3, so we still don't have to buy him a ticket. I think he will have to buy him a ticket next year, whatever show we do. I think which is Chicago Pro or whatever. But again, at the end of the day, it's a very expensive sport.
Yeah, true. True. Many conversations I had, it is expensive because the travel costs, everything is involved in it, prepping for a show, and then throw in like any other expenses that come along the way. And you know what? Sponsorship is so few and far between. Unless
Yeah,
you're, yeah, unless you're the lucky hand few who get a sponsor from a big company. Most of the time, everything's come out of pocket. I remember I posted this on my IG. Judah Wetzel, she made a comment saying like she spent 2 years. She saw her nest egg, just disappear. But she's glad, she's proud that she did it. I understand that, but at the same time, that nest egg could have been gone to something else.
yeah. I mean, that's what people understand that those next and some people have the means to do it, and some people have the means to do it, but they're going to take a hit. I think the girl who you said in Arizona who did the world championships a couple years back when we were trying to get on the show said she had to take a step back because financially it's especially for women, hair, makeup, suits, there's a lot of stuff that goes into like I mean, guys, we were banana hammock, or we wear little, board shorts, or the shorts that the classic physique guys wear. That's nothing, Plus, I mean, it's funny because people don't even understand. Like, I'm black and I still got to get tan. I get 2-3 coats of tan on me before I even go on stage, because if you don't, you're ashy. You look ashy, and so we got to get tan as well. As much as I would come out of tanning beds and I see these white people looking at me like, hmm? I'm like, see, it worked. I came out white and I'm turning black now. They're like, what? But because again, you're trying to cut water, you're trying to cut weight, you're trying to lean out. So these are little tricks that we use as competitors in general to do what we do. And so it's it's a lot of money. I can't even imagine. I think one year my brother Stan and I, we flew out to San Jose. We stayed at a Staybridge hotel. We trained with Flex for that year. My brother ended up winning to stand efforting, ended up winning Masters, turning pro. I was second at USA's. I then got my pro card after that. But that was an $85,000 a year, because you're talking about staying in a hotel 7 days a week. Thank God, 24 Fitness, gave us a free membership because we were filming and stuff there. But then we were flying back from San Jose, because San Jose to LA is like a 14, 15-hour drive. So we were flying to film stuff in LA at Gold's Venice, and you can look that up on Big Keith Williams or Stan Efforting, training with Charles Glass, Dave Kalik, and all these Flex Wheeler and all this other stuff. So we'll fly there, we'll train there, stay in a hotel maybe 1 or 2 days, and then come back to San Jose and train there. And that was a whole year. And that's, we would literally, my brother's Hummer, because he got his shift out there, we would go to Costco and they would pull out a whole rack of steaks, because we were steaking mostly rice and beef the whole entire time we were training with Flex. And that's a lot of food for two big ass, super heavyweight bodybuilders. That's a lot of food, and water and things like that. So I asked him, I said, how much did it cost us that year we trained with Flex? And it was about 85 grand between the flight, the supplements, and all the massage, because we had massage therapists coming and working on all this other stuff. It was expensive, to get a little tiny card that you still got to pay for $275 a year. So it's it's a little crazy, but that's what we chose to do.
Mhm. We have some comments here. Shout to our guests. We have here, this is from a man, James Henry. He says, shout to James Henry, comes through. He says, hi, everybody. Thank you, James
What
Henry.
up?
Hi to you. Also, this is from my man, Money J 2024. I've been a while since I've been here. Hope you get better, George. Appreciate that, brother. I do. Also, we got here from my man Warrior 2000 says, howdy, hello, what's up, hola. And
When we
also,
gonna get you on the show, Warrior?
yeah, we got to get you one day, show, Warrior. And also, we got this comment from Raheem Hamilton. He says, he suck. Raheem, hey Raheem, come here, hey, Raheem, you're not doing anything. Come on, son, come on here. Have courage, son. Come on.
Oh, aren't you from New York? Oh, both of your teams really suck.
Yeah, and also he says, 14,000 is not a lot of money coming on. Well, for some people, that's what they make in a year. You
What does he
know,
mean by that? 14,000 what?
yeah, I think he says 1,400. He said is not a lot. Come on. Well,
To go to Japan. Oh,
yeah, yeah, it's not too much,
well,
but
bet you can buy my plane ticket then.
some people that's what they get in a month. That's why I get just about that much in a month in my Social Security. Also, this is from man Money J says $10,000 for the trip. Yeah, that sounds like it is. So yeah. So anyway, I like this. There's so much to this sport. We have talked about the price of it, and I know with some of the ladies, they have to find ways to supplement money. The most are coaches and trainers. This is the first year where I talked to some ladies that I was trying to get some interviews with, but they're really busy because they picked up some clients. Because the first year you're gonna have a lot of people who want to lose weight and get in shape, and then also it's a way to make some fast money. And last for only so long. You got maybe the part to the 1st of January to let's say mid February, early March.
Is it where they start quitting?
Yeah, usually.
The
Yeah.
ones that are just, I mean, it depends if they're seeing results or not, but
Yeah. Well, anyway, I saw this, and I think somebody mentioned this in our last live stream, and this is some big money especially for certain divisions. As you know, Tyler Manning, he posted this a while back. I'm not a big fan of Tyler. I know he's the heir apparent to the family dynasty, and he posts this, and I think we always meant it's already been mentioned before, but we're gonna put it up here.
Hi everyone, Tyler Manning here, NPC and IFBB Pro League Vice President, and I'm here with another announcement regarding prize money for the Pittsburgh Pro. For figure, wellness, and women's physique, total prize money for each division will be $20,000. The winner will get $10,000, second place $7,000, and third place $3,000. Again, we're excited to bring elevated prize money to these divisions from what normal shows bring, and we're very excited to see everybody in Pittsburgh May 10th and 11th next year. And everybody make sure to go get your tickets now to the show at www.pittspowerfit.com.
Well, that's a pretty good chunk of change.
Well, here's the thing. I guess my only question, not to cut you off, George, is you're giving $10,000 to first place, $7,000 to second place, $3,000 to third place. Why not make it a top 5 thing where, maybe first place is, let's say, 6 or 7. Second place is, this, third, and instead of making just the top 3, because at the end of the day, 4th and 5th, top 5 should get money, no matter what, and it may not just be as much as they want, but again, at the end of the day, here's the funny thing: if you ever listen to how Tyler says it, we got the exciting news, $20,000, like meaning like $20,000 for the winner. No, that's 20,000 split up amongst 3 people. So they open up, and then the cat's out of the bag, because then they say, well, 10,000 for the winner, 7,000 for second, 3,000 for third. So it's not 20,000. Where I imagine the men's open bodybuilding, I don't even know what it is, but I'm sure it's a lot more than 10,000. to say the least. And they don't even have
Mhm.
women's bodybuilding, do they?
No,
Wow.
I'm like this. It's they're not gonna have it. I know it now because if they was gonna have it, they would have been announced it. Especially, I think the Pittsburgh Pros not till about, is it June or is it the end of May? I'm trying to remember. So, and if they had it in time, somebody would prep for that show. And you got to think about it. $10,000 for first place. That's still not as good compared to the Texas Pro, where Sarah puts up $15,000,
Yep.
and the from fifth all the way to 10th gets
Get
prize
1,000.
money too. Oh yeah,
Yep.
from
1,000.
sixth place to 10th, you get $1,000, and that's nice. A little bit of, especially depending where you're coming from. The cost of travel, your room expenses, that might cover some of it. But just a little something to change.
Yeah.
We have a comment from my man, Money J. He says this. He says, "What's been going on with Maria Lieberman? Haven't seen her in a while." Well, Maria's doing her thing. Most times she's more on IG. She's on YouTube. Also, he says this. He says, "How has Maria been doing? She's doing all right." And he says, uh, "Can't stay on very long. Got to be doing something important, but I will stay on long enough to chat more." I appreciate that, brother. Also, this is from Raheem Hamilton. Raheem says this. He says, "I will be on next week, Monday, working today." Right? You must not be working too much if you be able to have time to sit here and comment. Uh-huh. Also, salute. This is from my man Balls Deep. Hadn't seen him out here for a while. Says, "What's up? Salute. Thank you, brother." As his usual monikers. Chicago in here. Thank you, brother. Also, he says, here you go. Smash that like button. Smash the like button. I appreciate that. Also, he says, uh, peace and blessings to the chat. Thank you again for that. And it's from Warrior. He says, Tyler the fifth Jonas brother Manion. It's crazy. But yeah, and my man says this. Shout out to the Balls Deep. He says, "Yeah, that's chump." Well, you think about it. Some women spend 10,000 on their prep, and then they might have like a suit that they wear for at least 2 shows, and they might buy another suit just in case because they want to be the same suit in every show. And then for the guys, it's not too expensive. Like I said, I think the prize money because this is the first year we have men's bodybuilding at the Pittsburgh Pro. I think the prize money is like $200,000. You could have used $1,000, and you could have used the rest to, I don't know. I mean, add women's bodybuilding. Also pick up the add a little bit more to the prize money to the other shows. I think with wellness last year they had Wolfpack to sponsor them, and Wolfpack put up some of the prize money for each show that had wellness. I don't know if they're gonna do it again this year.
Well, you know what happened. You know what's going on here, right? So think about it this way, guys, and it works like this. Every year that they had the Pittsburgh Pro prior, they had all the top Olympians from like classic bodybuilding and things like that come to the show, right? And they would just come on stage and they have this pose down and do all this stuff. So you got to sit here and say, okay, hotels, flights for get all these guys here, per diems and all this stuff. How much does that cost for them to do that? So it's like, if we're going to pay these guys to come here and just, I guess, have essentially a big giant guest pose uh, extravaganza, we might as well make it a show and put a category on it, right? So let's put all these top guys that are maybe the 3, 4, 5, because Heidi ain't doing it. Sansom's doing the Arnold, things like that. So why not have these guys do it and make money on it? Because they're not making nearly as much money probably on the show as they're expending to bring these guys in. So why not put it a part of the show, and then we're making dividends. If you notice, the last thing he says, make sure you get those tickets. Make sure you get those tickets. Because they got to pay for this shit somehow. So you got to read between the lines sometimes. Can't hear you, George.
Ooh. Oh, you hear me now? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
They make their money from ticket sales and the pay-per-views because most people can't afford to go to these shows. That's about unless you live in Pittsburgh area where it's not too far for you to just drive there and check out the show. Most everybody else has to fly in or drive in, and that's another expense you're spending. And then if you're open competitive, like you said, you can get a ticket, but I think they'll, like you say, after a while they stop giving out tickets like they used to because I remember I think somebody told me that they wanted me to come to a show one time. Said George, I used to be if you came to a show, I get an extra ticket, I give it to you, and you could be you my guest, but I only get one ticket. And yeah, because you think
Even
about
at
it, you got to get.
Nationals, I remember one year going to Nationals, Dexter was there, and this is many years ago, and Dexter came in, and they made him buy. I said, wait a minute, a guy who's competed in Olympia, how many years, placed in the top 3, how many years, and he has to buy tickets? Here's the thing. You use my likeliness for years as a competitor, as the winningest bodybuilder ever in bodybuilding history, and I got to buy a ticket to an amateur show? What kind of shit is that? That's what I'm talking about. What is that? It's like, put some respect on the guy's name. You know what I'm saying? If the guy, I'm not saying they're saying give him 10 tickets, but if the guy needs 2 or 3 tickets for him and his fiance or wife or whoever he's bringing, give the man his ticket. But don't sit here and say you get 1 ticket, a day, a night and a day show and a night show ticket, and that's it. But you got to buy the rest. It's like, come on, that's just being disrespectful at that point in time. Again, then what's the privilege of having? What is actually the privilege besides entering a show for free as an open competitor, not as a master, as an open competitor? What is the privilege of having this pro card besides getting into a show for free? Because you're not guaranteed to make money unless you place in the top 5. So what is the actual benefit of having this $275 pro card that we all have to pay every year for? That's my question.
Mm-hmm. We have a comment from Rocky Hamilton. He says, he says, how would anyone know it's women's suits is pricey? Because they have told me. I have ladies told me that the suits can cost anything from at the cheapest, maybe $600-700, at the most expensive, $2,000, because those suits have to be handmade. And with the new upcoming division, fit model division, their suits don't have to be too fancy. But now I think because they're gonna have so many competitors, you're gonna see more suit designers jump on this and make more suits. They can really make money because they can just put these suits out quickly. Like I know a lady interviewed Michelle Bogdan. She's served our country in the military. Also, she runs a gym and also she's a suit designer. And she tells me that if you want a suit, give her 2 weeks advance notice because it takes a while to fix these suits. You gotta design it. You have to put the sparkles here and there. And the colors, everything. It takes a long time to get these suits together. It's just like I said, it's not as easy as these banana hammocks and board shorts. They just, you can go. I think the most expensive posing suit for men is maybe $100, if that the most. And it's not too much expense compared to the women.
No, and it's not. Like I said, and that's a low. There's some suits where depending on what kind of crystals you're using, Swarovski crystals on these women's suits and things like that. These suits can run anywhere between, $2 or $3 grand. You know what I mean? Some of these girls resell them, and rent them out and all this other thing, all these other things. But they're expensive. They're very expensive. For again, how many times are you actually going to wear the suit? The question is, are you placed in the suit? There's a whole bunch of things like, when I look at what Tina does, I'm like, holy shit, compared to what I do. Oh, let me throw some tan on. Let me throw, like you said, banana hammocks, good to go. But when it comes to suit, makeup, hair, jewelry, food, travel, accommodations, and all that shit starts to add up, and so, it's like I said, I think I'm on the low end of the spectrum when I say 10 grand. I would have to have Tina because she deals with all that stuff. I just booked the tickets, but I know it was, somewhere about 10 grand. And I remember our girl who comes on the show, what's her name? That went to the Master Olympia. Lori. She said she had, between her husband, herself, and her trainer, that was 30 racks to place 10th. I'm like, fuck, that's like the worst investment ever. Or the best vacation ever. Well, I guess whatever you want to look at it. But shit, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money to go to some place, not to, place. And I don't even know what the prize money was for the show that year. Like I said, I know Hidatata and Iris are doing it bigger and better in Tokyo. So I know everybody's excited for it because you have two competitors who actually know how to run a show, promote a show, and things like that. So it'll be interesting how they do things compared to how it's been done in the past.
Well, I remember last year for women's bodybuilding and women's physique, I think it was $10,000 for first place because I know Rochelle Boswell won that year, and Ivy Reen won that year, and Rashana, she did a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
The last year, two of them, no. Three of them were out of country. She did the Lita Popa show in Romania. Then went back to Romania again and did the Romanian Muscle Fest. And then she did the show in the UK. And did she show the UK? I think it. No. I can't remember. I think she did the show UK. I can't remember who won that show. I forgot, but I know she did that show.
And I guess the upside to it is that you get an Olympic qualification if you win.
Just saying now you don't have the point systems anymore. So
yeah.
That's why one of the why women we do multiple shows because they can pick up points.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
we have your comment from my man Money J. He says, how is wellness working out for Jada Beverly? Well, she still has things she got to work on. We talked a little bit. She's going through some stuff right now personally, but she's still determined to do, see how she does and how far she goes. So shout out to Jada. Also, Money J also says, well, guys, gotta go head out. See you guys next time. Thank you, brother. Thank you for coming.
Hey, question for you and Jeremy. Did you guys see the post on the girl who was third at the at women's physique going to wellness?
Oh, the French, Manon. Manon Doherty? Or how do you pronounce the name? Yeah.
It's Doherty. Yeah, she's French Canadian.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And she said that she said that she felt like she was doing as well in physique, and that's why she's trying to do wellness. But I don't know. I think she should maybe just take the time off and really work on some aesthetics. She has a impressive physique, and her last couple of shows, she did pretty good. She placed top 3 in women's physique. It would have been better just to take the time, grow a little bit more, instead of jumping over to wellness. Because you look at, even though, some of these women are trying to find something they fit in, but I don't think it worked. It will work for her. She puts on, I think, too much muscle mass.
Yeah, especially in her upper body.
Yeah,
that's why I don't know what wellness is necessarily going to be a good fit for her, because you jump from it'd be one thing to go from wellness to physique, because then you'd have to be putting on the muscle, but to take it off, to be able to be competitive. I mean, just stop training. But it's like with the amount of muscle that she's got in her upper body, I think she should try physique one more time, and then if it doesn't work, okay. But just when I took a look at her, it's like she doesn't strike me as being wellness.
No.
Particularly with her back, particularly with her just her upper body in general. I mean, she's got too much muscle. And then it's like what I've heard. She's got a really nice V taper, and it's like if your shoulders are such that you once you develop it that you get a really nice V taper, you're not wellness or bikini. I mean, if your shoulders are such that if your shoulders are such that they fit inside your waistline, then yeah, I would say she is. But she doesn't strike me as that. So I mean, it's her body. It's her physique, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to be a good move.
Well, like I said, a lot of women would jump to a division to see. I'm about to pull up her IG. I forgot to mute the IG before I get off of it. Yeah,
it's like, what
yeah, but it's a process. And I think she needs more of the time to, make improvements and bring in her conditioning. Right here, this is where
right there, with especially right there,
and well,
right there. That's not wellness.
That's not
wellness. She'd have to lose all that muscle just to be remotely competitive.
So,
especially in the pro level.
From the criteria that they gave me as a judge when we're judging wellness, is big quads, small upper body, and that's not small upper body. It's a bikini upper body and a bigger leg. So it's kind of when I remember when Tyler, I was being at the Tampa Pro when Tyler and Steve were first talking about this category even coming into existence, and they were talking, and it was more of like I would say the India, the Latin, I was calling like a women who had like babies who had these big old legs and this small upper body. And that's what wellness is. Now we've watched it evolutionize to something else, but that is not wellness. Not even fucking close. I mean, if you're looking at that picture for that matter, we're looking at that she should be women's physique at best.
Or figure.
Yeah.
When she
too big. Though at those pictures that she's sitting there with the back shot, her legs are way too big for figure. I mean, so if she's going to do anything, I would say, as a judge, I would say that's more women's physique, and I think she would do pretty well in it. I mean, again, picture looks are deceiving, so I don't know how tall she is either. In those heels, but those legs are ginormous. Holy shit. And those shoulders are huge. So that is way too much for women's figure. I would either say it's either women's physique or shit, maybe even women's bodybuilding for that matter. But again, it's all based off of how tall she is, so.
I think she's some pictures I've seen, maybe about 5'8", maybe 5'9". You know how it is. Sometimes the pictures don't really give you a real gauge of how tall some of these ladies are until you see them in person, or you still stand beside a guy who's kind of tall, or her husband's not that tall of a dude, so where she's wearing high heels most times she's around him, but she's impressive physique. I think she got her first Olympic qualification figure, then she did like the least 5 shows in figure, then did her last 2 in physique.
Was that the girl that you showed me from Toronto who won the Toronto show?
No, she didn't win the Toronto show. That was Tracy that won Toronto in physique. She won her show in figure at the Vancouver Pro. And I forget who won the figure division at Toronto. I'm trying to, she was at Toronto, but she didn't win the show. I think she was maybe in the top 10 at that show. That's when I was saying she's considered moving over
Yeah.
to physique.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be a far and away better move than moving to wellness.
Yeah, that is
Just with that, just when it's relaxed like that. Look at the size of that V taper that she's got. I mean, when you have a physique like that, that's what I've heard before from quite a number of pros, is that one maddening thing about bodybuilding is your physique dictates your division, not you. How the structure that you've got, especially your bone structure. I mean, it's like if you've got those broad shoulders that result in that nice V taper, then bikini and wellness isn't for you. It's just not. And it's like a lot of people want to pigeonhole themselves into a division that they like. And I mean, I understand that, but I mean, you got to pay attention to what your actual body is telling you. I mean, if your bone structure is such that you got a really good upper body, you got a really nice broad back, which results in that teeny tiny waist, and then also if you put on muscle easily and quickly, I mean, the muscle divisions are for you. Figure, physique, bodybuilding. I don't see her as being in wellness at all, but again, it's her choice. So,
yeah, but the thing is, sometimes some people choose things just as say for they pigeonhole themselves. I know a lady I interviewed a while back. She made a switch to wellness, and she went back to physique because you have to really bring a certain level. You know, she looked pretty impressive, but she didn't do as well as she wanted to. I mean, she wasn't in you crack top 10 some of her shows. Here we got a comment from a man, Warrior 2000. Shout out to Warrior. He says, when I come to the IFB judges, I'm literally like conjunction. What's that function? This is why it's so confusing. Excuse me, when it comes to the women in the IFBB. Yeah, because
the thing is though, in this case, it's not. If it's conjunction junction, they're not hooking up words, phrases, and clauses. So
I was my favorite color was verb. I love verb. You know,
verb. Yeah,
verb. That's what's happening. Yeah,
my all-time favorite is "I'm Just a Bill."
That's a good one.
I learned so much about government just from that. So,
oh my goodness, love that.
It's just like before I started out here, I was watching. I watched this network called Tune In. It's Tune In. You know, it's called Me TV Tunes, where they show classics. I was watching the old Super Friends series. I used to love watching that Saturday morning.
Oh yeah, Wonder Twins.
Deactivate.
Saturday morning cartoons, man.
Hey,
yeah,
lived for that. Lived for that.
Jeremy, you know what's coming next? I've decided what's coming next with the NPC. It's gonna be fit muscle.
Okay, now break down the criteria for me, if there even is criteria.
So the girl that we just seen, that's fit muscle. So you don't want to do. She ain't good enough. She's too big to do wellness. She may not fit in women's physique, but there's a fit muscle category, and that's her.
Well, yeah, but most people call it figure. I was going to say your fit muscle division already exists. It's called figure.
Hey, but you know they're just going to put a little spin on that shit.
Oh yeah, that was like I was trying to remember. I think this was up in Canada. Someone pointed out. In fact, I think it was Melody who pointed this out. And it's like I guess they came up with a division called Unlimited Bikini. And I'm trying to figure out unlimited how.
Unlimited how?
Why would you call it unlimited bikini? What's the unlimited part? You can have an unlimited number of bikinis per competitor, or what exactly is meant by that? Well, then it's also like they split up novice and true novice.
Yeah.
It's like novice means, oh well, you got a show under your belt. True novice is you've never done a show before. Do you really need to split that up like that? Right. Do you really need to split that up like that?
Yeah.
I mean, novice is novice. Novice means you're starting out.
Yeah, I just interviewed a lady who just made her debut last year. She did a couple of shows. She was the Legions. She did Legions also, and you know, it just they're changing the rules midstream instead of just okay, let's just fix the problem we have here now in front of us and
Yeah.
figure out what we need to do, not just slap another thing on top of it and just create another problem.
Well, and
It just
here's a tricky slick shit that they do that I find that kind of sucks. And what they do is okay, you turn pro at an open show, you turn pro at a master show, whatever. You're still paying the same price to get a pro card. But what you're not telling these master competitors are, oh, we're going to have master shows, but you're going to have to pay as if you're still an amateur to do these master pro shows. And I think that's bullshit.
Mhm.
Because, like I said, I was at the
Well,
Legion show and I did open and masters. And open, I got a nice jacket, super nice jacket, say, survival of the fittest. You got different shit, as a master, and I got tickets for the open show. Then when I did the masters the next day, I sent Chris a message. I'm like, do we not get tickets as master pros for our significant others or whatever? They said, no, that's only for the open. I said, what? How is, if I got to pay what if I gotta pay for a pro card, whether I'm open or masters, shouldn't the same rules should apply? Why should they be any different? And then on top of that, my master pro money is the money that so when I went to register for the Legion show, I did open and I did masters. I didn't have to pay anything for open, but I had to pay a dollar amount for masters. And I was like, whatever. So I paid it. And again, it's a Gary Udick thing because I imagine he started it when he started doing the Master Pro shows. That the prize money in conjunction was how many athletes were in the show competing in the master category, and that's how they divvy up the money. But again, what at the end of the day, as a masters competitor, my question is, if I got to pay $275, and I turned pro as an open, so I didn't turn pro as a master, I turned pro as an open. And I got to pay $275 as an open competitor, but I also got to pay $275 as a master competitor. But I get no benefits on being besides getting a pro card, which I got to pay the same as an open person. I don't understand what am I doing as a master competitor when I got to pay for one, still for a pro card. Two, I got to pay to enter a show if I'm an amateur. So where's the benefit? Why can't I just do master shows and win master shows and without the pro card and then just do master shows and whatever money goes into the pot we just divvy up anyway? But that's not the way they're doing it. So they're making money not only off the pro cards, because think about it, like we talked on your show before, George, many and many a times about all these pro cards they're giving away, all these pro cards. So you got to add up how many pro cards at a master nationals, the Pittsburgh Master, Pittsburgh, all these shows that Gary puts on and everything else at $275 a pop. That is a lot of goddamn money. So you're telling me out of all that money that you're making for all these pro cards, which is I don't even know. I would be interesting because I've never done the research, and maybe you guys would be interested to say how many pro cards do they give out during a year? In a 1 year, 365 days. How many shows there are? How many pro cards do they give out total? Masters and open. Have we ever thought about that?
Well, I had a couple of these ladies got their pro cards. One lady got 3, one lady got 2, another lady got 2. And that's crazy when you get 2 in the same division and one in another.
Well, but the question that I'm asking is, even if they get in 2 or 3, how many pro cards are they giving out in 1 calendar year? Open, masters, etc. All the classes, don't matter what class, how many pro cards they're giving out a year? Because then if you do the math at $275, that's a lot of effing money.
Yeah, but then it's also like it's a waste. Because you only need one pro card to turn pro, which means you have one, but you're throwing another or throwing two away.
Exactly.
That you flat out don't need.
Exactly.
So why are we handing out multiple pro cards to amateur national level competitors? Why are we doing that?
Exactly.
I mean, again, it's just money. You don't need two. You don't need three. I mean, it just is ridiculous to me.
Well, like I told you, like I said the last time, it was like one of those things where the guy said, Kevin and Sean and Flex and says, man, you know how many years it took us to get our pro cards at the amateur level? And now you can go to nationals and play second and get a pro card. You can go to a show and get 3 pro cards at Masters or whatever, wherever these ladies competing in. That is insane. And at some point in time, we all got to be honest with ourselves and say it's a money thing. That's all it is. These new classes, all these pro cards. Now you're going to have this new fit model division coming in, which is they're probably going to give top 2 just so they can get the division going for 2026 so that they have enough competitors on stage. So they'll probably give out 2 pro cards per class. And then you got another plethora of pro cards out there at $275 a pop. It's just crazy to me, but I'm a logical thinker, so I guess.
Don't do that. Don't be logical in a logical world. You will have a miserable life. Believe me.
Yeah. We got a comment from my man Ward 2000s. LOL. These judges can't comprehend anything. Also, Warrior says this. He says Keith Williams may be the only IFB judge who knows what's best for the women athletes and the men, as well as should be head judge. Honestly, you never know, brother. You should. Also, this is from Warrior 2000 says Tyreek El Gandia, whatever his name is, looked like a Latino heavy-set version of Ernie from Sesame Street. That's cold.
And here's the thing, he writes off his brother's coattails, Tamer, and I get it. I mean, keep it in the family, just like the man is keeping it in the family, and whatever it is to me. I ain't knocking a hustle. All I'm sitting here saying there has to be a better way about going to do things. But again, if the money, if I ain't mad at them, because if the buckets of money keep pouring in, I'm just gonna keep letting them pour it in and taking it to the bank. That's what I'm gonna do, and that's all they're doing at this point in time. And this is what I would love to see, Jeremy and George. I would love to see you take a Sid Gilman, and these has to be former champions. They can't be current champions. Former champions at the highest level, the Dexter Jacksons, the Flex Wheelers, the Ronnie Colemans, the Lee Haneys, the people who are still around and still exist, and create a panel and says, what would you guys like to see? Because they in essence, you'll hear them say that the sport has gotten way too soft and way too easy. So in order for us to get back to the way it was, what would you guys like to see? Because back then, and I understand it's more, like we talked about last show, evolution, every sport evolutionizes. But at the end of the day, the NFLPA and the things that are ran by the NBA PA and the NHL PA are ran by former players that want to see things change and see things better to protect athletes and to make the sport better, not by people who are not competing. I mean, think about it. Let's be honest, and I'm not trying to clown here. Have you ever looked? I know you guys haven't, but when you're on stage competing and you look down at the judging panel and you says, "Who actually is fucking judging me? Who actually is judging me?" Because you've been around the sport, because you know somebody who knows somebody, you've been a judge, that makes you an expert?
Right. In my humble opinion, the ultimate judging panel would be Rachel McLish, Corey Everson, Linda Murray. Let's see, who else would it be? Trying to think of others that would fit that list. Well, it depends. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kim Shavesky. I mean, those would be the ones. Hold on.
Take your time, brother. I know what you're going through.
But he's right. I mean, but Jeremy's right. You bring in these former champions and former competitors, and they're not all going to agree, but they'll come to some some what's the word I'm looking for?
Consensus.
Consensus to sit there and says, this is what it should be about. And it should be about that. But again, you know, I know a lot of people, like when I come on here, they're like, well, you know, you never know who's listening. I'm just giving my humble opinion. And if I can't give my humble opinion as an athlete who still competes, then fuck it. You know, if I, you know, some people say, oh, you may get blackballed. I say, here's the thing. I'm at the end of my career anyway, so I can give a shit less. I am just trying to make the sport better for future competitors, for current competitors, for people in general. And I know we have this conversation, oh, these girls don't want to come on here because they don't want. I say, at the end of the day, how does change happen? If you're not willing to come on here or go anywhere and speak your mind on it, I am not disrespecting the sport because I go to the gym and train my fucking ass off every day to still compete. What I am saying is I see things as being in the sport as long as I have been in and being in two other professional sports in track and football, that I know how things can be better and change. The problem is most of these athletes that compete don't know that because they only know one lane. And when you only know one lane, you're like, oh my God, you know, I don't want to say nothing, this, that, and other. We all know in the NFL, you can't question referees, but now guess what? What did the NFL start doing this year? The smartest thing they start doing, because of the referees are missing calls. And shit, they're still missing calls. They get the referee on the field will get a buzz in his ear from New York saying, you made the wrong call, overturn that, because this is what we've seen in New York, because they're watching every game. It's smart. It's very smart.
It's the same thing with Coach's Challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, they came up with that years ago.
Yeah.
Because they didn't like the idea of referees making calls like that. So it's like that gives the coach an opportunity to say, hey, hold up a second. And it's not just anybody. It's just as much an expert on the game as the referee is. So.
And it's just like when they do at the Olympia now, which is really cool. When they say, we're going to have a champion that's judged by the judges. But we're also going to have a people's champ, which I think last year Samson Dual won them both. He won the people's champ and he won the Olympia title. So the people's champion is people who go online, who are watching the show and vote for who they want. Right? Mm-hmm. But they didn't do, and that's cool. I know Lee Thompson, who's no longer a part of anything. I knew, and I think the Rock idea was to have people come online and give their opinions as well as the judges' opinions to come with a happy medium. Because I remember Steve saying in a video once before, he said, well, people who don't see what we see in up close in person. And I'm like, okay. I said, but still, at the end of the day, what happens is I've been at shows and I'm sitting there scratching my head like when Hade should have won it 1 year in Orlando. I'm like, what just happened? Big Ramy beat him? No way in the world. And you can't tell me that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about because I'm a competitor. And I don't have a favorite. You know, I don't favor Big Ramy over Hade Koopa. I don't. You know, your eyes show you what your eyes should see. And I think from the standpoint of having fans be able to, it's like The Voice, you know, and it's like these shows where you have at the end of like America's Got Talent. You got these people that are watching the show for weeks on end and this and the other, and then they get to join in on who they think should be the winner, right? How cool is that? But in our sport, they want so much control and power that'll never happen.
What they have to do is, and this is the hard part about competitive bodybuilding, is that you have to use that horrible word that nobody likes, but in this case you have to use, and that's compromise.
Yeah.
You have to have a compromise between the federation, between the promoters, between the competitors, and between the fan base. Yep. So what has to happen is that you have to come up with a look, or you have to come up with a physique that's desirable on the part of the competitors, that this is something that they would want to have. This is the kind of physique that they would want for themselves. Has to be marketable on the part of the promoters because it should be there to make money. And it should be in keeping with what the federation is saying that they want to have as well, but then also one in which the fan base is going to want to buy tickets to see it. So you have to come up with some compromise between the three or the four of those. The problem is nobody wants to do that. Well, the women are saying, "Oh, well, we want to go this way. We want to look like this." Yeah, but you're not anywhere near as marketable as you were historically. And then the promoters say, "Oh, well, we want to make money, or we want to do this." But look at the ridiculous lengths that they're going to make that money with novice and true novice. And with all of these added divisions and allowing crossovers and allowing pure nonsense to happen at these shows. I mean, they're making money, but for crying out loud, the fans also complain about that because they echo the same things that we're saying. It's like they're saying, wait, why would we? Because all these divisions result in super long shows. Who's going to want to sit down to a show? Who wants to sit to a show that goes on for 7-8 hours, let alone 2-3 days? Well, I mean, it's like you have to find a compromise, and in that case, everybody's going to lose something. But if you want the best possible world, that's what you got to do. That's what you have to do.
I remember going to Gary's show one year, and Tina was competing. She didn't go on stage till midnight. I remember them having to bring food to the judges' tables because they couldn't stop the show because it would even get behind even further and further. I think that's why after that year that happened, they made another day for Gary's show. But again, at the end of the day, these judges are still sitting at those tables for a super long time and dealing with this shit. And I'm sitting there saying, okay, you're telling me at some point in time, your decision-making skills don't get compromised sitting there for that long a time?
Right.
Or am I crazy?
No, back when figure started, that's exactly what happened. Because figure back then was the bikini of today. You'd have 150 competitors show up. But back then, it was harder because of something that you don't have in figure anymore, and that's the one-piece round.
Yep.
Because you had a one-piece round and you had a two-piece round. So it's like you have those 100 figure girls who all come out in their one piece, and then everybody goes back and they change it to their two pieces, and you have prejudging all over again. All 150 girls, this time out in their two-piece instead of their one-piece. They had to shuttle in fresh judging panels periodically over like a couple of hours for exactly the reason that you're saying, because they're so fucking overwhelmed with what it is that they're seeing. They're falling asleep at the judging panel.
And all I'm saying at the end of the day with all this, and because I'm not bitching one way or another, I'm like, there has to be a simpler, more complex way of doing things.
There is. You have to find. Yeah, everybody's got to meet halfway, but nobody wants to do that because everybody thinks they're right.
Here's a comment from Award 2000. LOL, these judges can't comprehend anything. Also, this is to Warrior says Keith Williams may be the only IV who knows. Oh yeah, I feel like I say this. And wait a minute. Here it is. Repeat myself. Also, this is from Warrior says, Sandy Williamson basically judges based on bias, femininity, muscle structure, but she flip-flops talking about the women physique. Girls shouldn't be styrated, but yet awards a champ who has that. I know we talk about Sarah. Also, it's from James Henry says, I would like to see females and men get equal prize money. That'd be nice to see, but we all know it's not gonna happen anytime soon. And
guys, it's been a good conversation. I gotta head out. So
all right.
Good talking to everybody.
Mm-hmm. All right, appreciate it, brother. Thank you for going through. Also, this is from Warriors has had to crush Kim Zaleski back in her prime when she was younger. Just want to throw that out there since her name is mentioned. Yeah, Kim, she is.
And Kim is still Kim is skills. And I love Kim because she keeps it 100. she came out with a deal not too long ago where she was basically telling women, and it was the coolest thing ever because a lot of these girls, where people don't know, wear wigs now, you know. And so Kim was like, "Fuck it, I'm tired of sitting here hiding this shit. Here's my new wig. This is what I'm doing," and it was awesome. You know, she is the emancipation proclamation for women. Is like, look, some of y'all losing your hair, some of y'all doing this, some of y'all doing that. So hey, I'm just gonna put it out there. I wear wigs, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. But for many years, nobody knew that I was wearing wigs, but I wear wigs, and that was super cool. And Chad and Kim and her family are beautiful and unbelievable people, and she's a beautiful woman still to this day.
Yeah. We have this comment from Warrior. Says, Keith and Tina make these live streams worth coming on. Vast numbers on this channel. Oh, thank you, brother. Man, KL, one that just popped through here, and we appreciate him coming through.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah.
Got the stars in the background. What's that? The stars and the
yeah.
Well, one thing I'm gonna post this is Teresa Vasic posted a while back. Her email got hacked, and I know how it feels. I had my IG get hacked, and you gotta be really careful out there when you are on social media. People just don't have nothing to do in their life but mess with somebody else's shit. So I'll post this.
Hey everyone, I wanted to come on here real quick and talk about the story post I made yesterday. My personal Gmail account has been compromised. I no longer have access to that account. It unfortunately was attached to my YouTube channel, which I worked really hard on, and it is now taken down. I had the silver plaque, tons of videos up there, and I'm going to try so hard to get that back. I have support in with everybody as well. In the meantime, I made a new email address, which is already uploaded to all my major platforms. So you're going to need to contact me there. I will list the hacked account and the new account down below. If we did connect, do collaborations or communicate through Gmail, we can no longer use that account. It is not me. Don't answer them and don't open links. If you're getting DMs on Facebook and Instagram without the verified badge, please know that is not me also. There's a lot of fake accounts going on, and TikTok is now doing it too. So please be very careful with who you're talking to. I don't want you to be next.
Yeah, folks, you gotta be careful on social
she's
media.
She's not bullshitting. I mean, a lot of people have that. A lot of people have been hacked on. And then it's like, then it's like if you kind of make transactions with things, you kind of cooked. They'll take your money and stuff like that.
I remember somebody hacked me and Tina's our fan page, and I was like, I couldn't even get in it. I'm like, how can I get in my own account? It's the craziest shit ever. Like, it locked me out, and I knew all the answers, but I just don't understand the world that we live in, that people have this much time to do this shit. But I guess they do, because I'm like, I'm not a tech savvy person to do any of this shit. So it's just amazing to me how these people do this stuff for devious reasons of their own sorts. But it's just nuts.
Yeah. This is from Warrior. He says, we've all been there, Teresa. We can relate. It happened to me, and I had to start all over. Yeah, I can tell you, my first IG, now with my second IG account, when I lost it, I was just so pissed. I mean, it took me a long time to post stuff and make connections, and it's all over again. So so brothers, I'm not gonna hold you up too much longer. I'm trying to fight this cold. I feel like
you need to get better, brother. Lots of fluids.
Yeah, I'm trying to drink as much as often as I have to force myself to drink, because it's I've been sick before, but it's just But
what I would tell people, George, when it comes to this topic of discussion, I know we sometimes get off track, is simply this: understand that it takes a lot of hard work and dedication for one to do this sport, and it's not for everybody, and it is super expensive, whether you're natty or whether you take supplements. Let's just say that it's very expensive with the coaches, the food, the training, everything, the travel, the hotel, all kinds of stuff. me, you know, when I compete in shows, my coach has to be there. You know, so we not only have to pay for, if we decide to take our kids, we have to take our hotel. We have to make sure that Mel's taken care of, her food's taken care of, you know, her travel is taken care of, and everything else. So that's another whole person, whole another person that you got to take care of right then and there. You know, when we had Flex, and when I said 85 grand, I'm sure that that number included Flex's, you know, training fee, his travel fee for whenever we went to shows and this, that, and the other. But again, make sure that you understand that your finances are intact and that you're not compromising things in your life to compete. Because again, not everybody's guaranteed a pro card. And at the end of the day, when you do get those pro cards, you're still paying for it, and the expenses just add up even more. So don't if you want to do something to explore it and to see if it's something that you want to do, that's great. But don't sacrifice your, you know, your livelihood of who you are and what you're doing for yourself and what your kids. Because remember that Netflix deal where the girl who killed her husband, the bodybuilding guy, and she said, we were eating 2 eggs and he was eating 12. You know, you don't want to live like that. You know, you want, and then he was messing.
Oh.
He froze?
Yeah, I think he froze.
Oh.
Well, we'll give him a minute. But yeah, that's truth. Yeah, I think it's important to worry about the things you can take care of. And you can find a way to afford it. You don't have to do. I know some of the ladies that do is they call it the Beat and Meat website that helps, pay for some of their, competitions and stuff like that. But there's a better way to do this. I know, man, Big Keith is froze. I don't want to, but I think I'm gonna have to end this. I'd like to thank him for coming through and sharing his thoughts. Like I said, folks, I am fighting this cold. And I think it's time for me to lay up. So, and thank you, Kale, man, came up for the last minute. I really appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, I was trying to come earlier, but I had to do some errands, so
That's understandable. So, folks, shout out to my man Big Keith Williams, my man Jeremy, and also Kale here. Appreciate y'all coming through. Shout out to War 2000, James Henry, Balls Deep, all the ones that were here that supported this channel. Competitors out there, I know y'all love the sport, but you should get something out of it as much as you put into it. Anyway, this is Man with George Page, aka the Emperor of Body Talk. Like, subscribe. I am out. Have a good afternoon, good night, and God bless. I really much need it.
Better.